First of all, I appreciate the fact that both of them didn't have much to say about it because it's their business, it's not ours. And the reason why it's applicable in this particular situation is because it's clear the conversation wasn't just about basketball. It's about the lessons that come with trying to be the best professional that you can possibly be, trying to weed out the distractions, trying to diminish and dissipate the noise that's in your ear and between your ears or what have you. These are the kind of things that LeBron James is more than qualified to advise a young phenom about. Lonzo Ball is not that yet. We need to see more. But he played another good game last night. These are back-to-back games, as far as I'm concerned, that he's looked relatively decent. The level of aggression that he's put on display, looking for a shot. For the second game in a row, he's hit at least 3 3-point shots. So that means it's starting to go in a little bit more. The percentages was 45% from the field. This is a good thing. When you talk about 13, 11, and 8, those are relatively respectable and decent numbers. And if he can do something like that where he's continuing to look for a shot, that's great. Just show the level of assertiveness that people would expect from a number 2 overall pick. That's what you're looking for from him as a basketball player. But as a young man, it was easy for LeBron James to feel the need to espouse some words of wisdom upon the kid. Clearly, LeBron was telling him to cover your mouth so they don't read your lips and see what we're saying to one another. That's why you block your mouth from, being seen in that regard. And obviously, when you think about what you hear about Lonzo, he's a nice kid. Really, really good character guy. The pressure that's been placed on his shoulders is not by him at all. He has quietly gone about the business of trying to be the best that he can be, and his father's mouth has put him in a precarious position, which is, basically provoked the ire of individuals like Charles Barkley and so many others. Even Kyle Kuzma went on Instagram and spoke against the big baller brand. Why on earth would he do that? You know why he did it? Because, everybody suspects that it's having an unfair effect on the kid who's done nothing to bring such vitriol in his direction. So those are the kind of things that LeBron James was in his ear whispering about. Just do what he can to shut out the noise. Unfortunately, what LeBron can't do is advise him on how to deal with his dad, because LeBron's not qualified to do that. He's qualified to do almost everything else. I'm not sure he's qualified to do that, and I think he would know that. But whatever he said to the kid, you had best believe it was profound words of wisdom. And LeBron James is more qualified than anybody in the game of basketball today to give that kind of advice.
There's a book called The President's Club. It's about the fact that when the presidents, whichever party, Republicans and Democrats, leave office, they become friendly. They become close at times because only they understand the pressure that office brings with it. They're the only ones who really understand it. So they have a bond. Bill Clinton and H.W. Bush. He ended H.W. Bush's presidency. It was only a one-term president because of Bill Clinton. And yet they became friendly. George W. Bush and Barack Obama. You couldn't have very different kinds of presidents, fundamentally different. But there is an animus there, personally, it doesn't seem, because they share a bond that only presidents can understand. And that's what's going on here. Whenever you think of Lonzo Ball, whether it's LeBron looking at him going, game recognized game, real recognized real, I think that kid's going to be a baller or has a chance. Or even if you don't think it's that, only LeBron can understand fully what Lonzo is going through in terms of the pressure. Now, you could say, well, it's different because in this case, LeVar, Lonzo's father, is bringing the pressure. But still, Ben Simmons is #1 overall pick, not going through the kind of pressure that Lonzo's going through, right? Joel Embiid and Simmons in Philadelphia, neither one of them going through this kind of pressure. Markelle Fultz or any of the #1 picks recently, Karl Anthony Towns, who's going through the kind, even Kristaps Porzingis in New York, in Madison Square Garden, not going through the kind of pressure Lonzo's going through because of the media attention. LeBron James understands what that is. To be on every sports talk show every day. That on our show, we legitimately cover it when we think it's interesting and when there's room for debate. But the fact of the matter is, on shows across the country, the question is, how are we going to get Lonzo Ball into the show? Because it's interesting to fans. And LeBron James is as caught up, I'm sure, in that soap opera as anyone else. But more than that, he understands the pressure and what Lonzo's going through in a way that no one else really can. He relates to it, and that's why he's passing on those words of wisdom, because he knows of all those guys who came out in the draft recently, Lonzo is coming closer to experiencing the pressure LeBron had than anyone else.
Well, he also understands the word assistance and how everybody needs it. LeBron James couldn't find his way, and then he went to Miami, and Dwayne Wade was there to be that big brother with him. They had press conferences together after every single game. They were inseparable, and Dwayne Wade wouldn't leave his side. LeBron James didn't do any one-on-one interviews. He didn't talk to the media in post-game by himself. Dwayne Wade was always by his side because that's what was needed. And Pat Riley was somebody that was the steward of the Miami Heat franchise at the time that had a lot and provided a lot of assistance in terms of showing them the way and showing them how to win as well. So we have to take that into consideration. And if you're LeBron James, somewhere in the crevices of your mind, you have to appreciate that. This is why, no matter what differences that they may have had at the end, the Alonzo Mourners of the world and so many others were sitting up there with LeBron like, you speak to these men. You speak to a Pat Riley. You speak to a Mickey Harrison. You know why you tell them like that? Because they had something to do with you learning how to be as great as you are today, not just as a professional athlete, but as a young man. And Dwayne Wade had a lot to do with that as well. That's why that's his brother. LeBron may be bigger, but Dwayne Wade is the big brother in that relationship. Make no mistake about it. And so when you look at it from all of those standpoints, LeBron James is the kind of guy, kind enough, decent enough to recognize that what was done for him, you can turn around and do for another. To whom much is given, much is required. And anytime that you have a lot, you reach back and you make sure you provide the level of assistance that was provided to you. And Lonzo Ball is a very, very sympathetic figure. Isaiah Thomas, I'm talking about the Hall of Famer, Isaiah Thomas, as well as many others, speak up on his behalf every chance they get. Charles Barkley goes crazy about LeVar Ball because of the effect he's witnessing LeVar Ball's presence in the media has had on the career of Lonzo Ball thus far. He is literally a sympathetic figure who everybody has heartfelt feelings for because they know that he has done nothing to deserve the cynicism that comes his way. That's all about his dad.
And LeBron has to have a special affinity for players like Ben Simmons and Lonzo Ball because this is the LeBron James effect. Not that Lonzo is the size of Ben Simmons or LeBron James, but bigger players who want to play the game, not like Michael Jordan, which is post-Jordan. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. You have big guys facing up. They want to put it on the floor, stick their tongue out their mouth, dunk on everybody. LeBron James, the LeBron James effect, has turned bigs into point guards. Everyone wants to hook everyone else up, share the ball, those types of things. And you can see it in Lonzo's game. You can see it in Ben Simmons' game. Even more than, Magic Johnson didn't have that effect quite because 5 years into his career, there was Michael Jordan. And that captured everyone's imagination. People stopped thinking about Magic and Bird so much. And it was Jordan who took over the imaginations of everyone. But post-Jordan, it was LeBron James where you've seen a sea change in terms of the way people play basketball. And now LeBron is confronted with this new wave of players who clearly are trying to play like him, and I'm sure he's drawn to that.
They were thinking about Kobe.
Possible.
Post-Jordan, they were thinking about Kobe, not LeBron.
Yeah, but Kobe was playing Jordan's game. It was the same game.
We're out of time, guys. On that note, what if they really linked up? Why don't you weigh in on our Twitter question? If the Lakers add LeBron, are they a serious threat to the Warriors? We'll share those results a little later in the show. When we come back, the Rams are trying to do something that